All right, so today we have the Tesla Model 3. This is a car that does not really need an introduction. It is the Tesla for the rest of us. And as a car enthusiast, I've been really curious about this car because I'm wondering, is it a car that I would actually enjoy to own? Would I enjoy driving on a daily basis? Is it something I should really consider? I'm a tech and gadget kind of guy, and I know a lot of car enthusiasts are as well. So this car kind of draws me in. But the real question is, if you have the need for speed and you're on a beautiful road like this on a beautiful sunny day, will this car satisfy you? We're going to go for a drive and find out right now. So, in terms of driving impressions, there is one interesting little tidbit. So if you've never driven a Tesla before, or really any electric car, the one thing that you're going to notice once you finally do is that when you step on the accelerator, the car will move pretty quickly because it has essentially 100% of its power at 0 RPM, which is pretty neat. However, when you lift off of the accelerator, all of a sudden, the car's braking. It's almost like you're applying the brake yourself, but you're really not. And I mean, I'm driving pretty, I'm saying a spirited fashion right now, and I don't have to push the brakes very much because the car, it's really just engine braking. And it's strong enough that really it's almost a binary motion. It's like easy on and then lift off and the car is slowing down. So it's really weird, but you got to retrain yourself how to drive. So the first thing I noticed right off the cuff is that the steering on this car is really direct. And that is, I mean, really like half the battle because it makes the car feel alive. It makes it feel sporty. And, you know, to be honest, it kind of makes me feel like I'm more confident in this car than I feel like I should be. And I don't know if you could tell, but there are some really twisty turns that I'm going through. And there is absolutely nothing but grip on the front end. So I'm really pleased with that. That is a great job by Tesla. So the brakes themselves, though, when you're not engine braking and you're actually using them, they're fantastic. I mean, they're perfectly matched to the weight of this car. I would imagine, though, on a racetrack, I would say that these probably overheat and you'll probably feel a spongy pedal. But how many people are taking these things to the track? I mean, I know, I believe it was Motor Trend, like not too long ago, they took a Model 3 and they went to the racetrack, and I think they even drifted it. You're not going to be doing that typically, but it is good to know for the street, this thing can slow you down, and it has a well-matched setup, so that's awesome. So, acceleration. This is one of the base versions. I wouldn't even call it a performance version, but it has some get up and go. I mean, it doesn't feel slow. And, you know, those 0 to 60 figures that you see on lots of different websites and articles and all that stuff, those don't really matter anymore because typically the testers, they're pushing so hard to get those numbers. A typical driver like myself or you guys at home probably aren't going to be able to replicate that anyway. But the real test is the button seat test. And I'm telling you, this car feels torquey, because it is. And in an acceleration position like I am right now, you can feel it really pulling. I mean, it feels great. So I think this car definitely gets up out of its way. Let's talk about exhaust note. There isn't any. Is this car fun to drive? Well, I'm enjoying myself, but I think I'm enjoying myself more so because the road itself is really fun. I'm not sure that I'm enjoying myself in the Tesla. I think that this is a great car for getting you around, but I'm finding myself not enjoying the performance aspect of this car as much as I thought I would. And I think that's really because it feels like a video game. This does not feel like I'm driving the car. It feels like the car is taking my inputs from a remote location and just steering. So I wish there was a more connected feel. But again, what do you expect for, 35 grand? I mean, that's still pretty amazing that you can get an electric car and do these kinds of things with that entry-level dollar figure. For daily driving and comfort and practicality, I really do think this is a great car. Like, you could go through the city and just enjoy being in a quiet place that's comfortable. Obviously, everybody knows that these dashes are pretty Spartan. There's nothing really to distract you. You can just relax. And this has a trunk and a frunk, and that's a lot of space. I mean, you get a good amount of room in this car. So if you're just looking for transportation, I think this is a great car to consider, especially sub 40K. But I will point out one thing. I'm finding myself getting a little nauseous in the car, and I don't know why. In a gas-powered car, I go through these roads pretty quick, never have an issue. But in this car, there's something where it's making me feel a little sick, and I'm not really sure why. So, if anybody else has had a similar experience in their Model 3, write in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story on that. All right, guys, so that is our drive of the Model 3. Thanks for joining us on that little journey. And just to summarize driving impressions, great power, great steering, very direct, handles well, very comfortable and practical. And I think if I'm driving in any metropolitan city, or if I'm in traffic, or if I want to go to Costco, this is the car you want to be in, honestly. It's great for all that stuff. But for a car enthusiast, should you buy this car? Would I buy this car? I'm going to have to say no. And really, it's because at this price point, there's so many other cars out there that are way more engaging. I mean, the $40,000 to $60,000 range, which is really the price range you're going to be dealing with in reality if you're buying one of these things new. I mean, think about it. You can buy a 1M. You can buy a 911. You could buy a Ford Focus ST or an RS. You can buy a Civic Type R. I mean, there's so many more cars out there that are better for the money, new and used. So for my money, I'm going to pass on this as an enthusiast car. But I tell you what, if this is car number 2 or 3, it's perfect. So all that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave your comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one.